April 11th, 2019. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 178 of You Can Bet On That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet On That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So, on an episode a while back, I'm sure we talked about how I had started making the sports bets for us. When we first really started making some sports bets, I had you do them, but it wasn't very good. You were pretty bad, I'll just be honest with you. It wasn't going well. And
I'll take that.
So then I started making the bets, and I wasn't doing much better. And after a particularly bad day, I said, that's it, Mike. I'm going to start betting the opposite of what I pick. And of course, we're both thinking, well, we know how that's going to go, right? As soon as we change it up. But no, it's actually been a good thing.
Yeah.
It's actually turned it around quite a bit.
Yep, your picks have been much better.
In fact, a few Saturdays back, we went 10-0. 10-0 on a day.
Yeah.
It was something else. And you'd think, well, why didn't we do a parlay? But of course, if we'd been doing parlays every
we wouldn't
day,
have had any money to go
right.
10-0.
That's right. So all I do in the morning, I kind of make all my picks on paper, and then when I actually go to make the bets, I just do the opposite, and that's done. I'm fading myself. So if anybody wants my picks in the morning, just let me know.
Yeah.
That'll probably jinx it.
Yeah, that'll probably jinx it. You'll give them the picks, and it'll be the exact opposite of what they should have done.
Yeah, and they'll think, well, he's been lying the whole time.
Right.
Shouldn't have believed anything you hear on the show. Hey, congratulations to all our Arkansas listeners. So voters approved a constitutional amendment to legalize casinos late last year. And what a turnaround it was, because now they've already got 2 casinos. They're on existing racetracks. So it's not like they had to build them from, the ground up.
Right.
But 2 full-blown casinos, one at Oaklawn Racing Casino Resort in Hot Springs, and the other Southland Casino and Racing in West Memphis. So there you go, big, full-blown casinos. I was looking too. I mean, everything, slots, craps, the whole shebang. So.
I have a cousin that lives near Hot Springs. I should call her sometime and tell her to go check it out.
Yeah. Send us a pair of dice or, a chip or something. And
right.
Or
just a losing craps hand. She'll just
record the numbers.
Just record the numbers. Yeah.
Say, okay, Mike, here's what it was.
That'll fit better with my life.
7, 11, 3, 4, 7.
Yeah, that's it.
That was good. Was that good?
That was good. That'll be it.
How have we been doing at the casino lately? It's better. Don't you think it's a little bit better?
Yeah, it's better. Yeah, we've had some winning nights. Yeah. I mean, it's not a heater or anything.
No, nothing like that.
Actually, what it's been is pretty normal.
Right, kind of back to the standard.
Lose a little, win a little kind of thing. What you would expect.
Right.
Especially for people who are on a podcast who do it all the time.
That's right.
Not the huge losses or huge wins. And,
Well, we've talked about on the show how those swings come.
Yeah.
Well, you going to be okay? You seem a little down. We're starting the show here. You seem a little down.
I know. I'm okay. I'm tired.
You're tired. Okay.
I'm tired.
Well, we got to get
we got to leave tomorrow or day after tomorrow.
Well, yeah, when this posts, it's going to be we leave for Gamblepalooza, so I know.
Yeah, I'm going to go straight to bed.
Oh, when you get there.
Yep.
Now I have said that before for trips to Vegas.
Yeah.
And I've done it. You've seen me do it.
Right.
Listeners have witnessed it.
Yeah. No, I'm going to go straight to bed as soon as we get in the limo.
No,
I'm going to lay down on one side of the limo.
Okay.
And you and Adam can sit on the other side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to lay completely down.
Who's this Adam of which you speak?
I don't know.
He's supposed to be in the trunk, isn't he?
Probably the driver.
I think didn't we make that deal? Adam goes in the trunk.
Adam goes in the trunk. Well, where else would we put him?
Yeah. Okay. Now it makes sense. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to our voicemail hotline segment. Remember, call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. I should emphasize maybe, because sometimes we won't use a call. Right. A lot of times it's kind of a judgment call.
Well, I usually just roll the dice, and if 7 comes up, we don't use that call. So if you haven't heard it, it's because you 7'd out.
Okay, so 1 out of 6 calls we don't use.
Yeah.
No, seriously, we won't use a call, obviously, if it's not relevant to the show. Or sometimes if it's in a response to an older episode, sometimes somebody will call in not having heard our whole catalog. And they'll call in and say something like, hey, they don't have the free buy bets at Downtown Grand anymore. Just calling to let you know.
Yeah.
And if they, continue to listen to more episodes, maybe they'll find it. Although in this episode coming up, we've got a call where somebody references an older episode. So it'll depend. Or if it's redundant, or maybe it's something we've just talked about recently.
Well, we're redundant.
Well, I know. Maybe we should be doing a lot more editing on us
right.
instead of the call.
Right.
And of course, if the call is inappropriate for some reason, we won't use it.
Hey, we're inappropriate too. Wait a minute. We're all these things.
Thanks for listening. But I'll give you a sort of an example of redundancy. So listener TP called in recently. He was concerned that he didn't seem to get a very good rating when he was playing in the high limit room at Aria. I think he was playing like $100 blackjack hands. And he called in to ask if we had any suggestions. Well, he also contacted the folks at the Vegas Confessions podcast. And Eric Rosenthal, on this most recent episode, provided very thorough answers to TP's questions, much better than our responses would have been. So TP, we're not going to play your call, but if you haven't already listened, he probably has, but go back and listen to the most recent episode. It's Vegas Confessions, episode 37.
So what was the reason he didn't get a good rating?
Well, I think it was just the fact that he was at Aria, number one.
Yeah.
Okay. So, kind of a big place anyway. He was treated very well in the high limit room, cigars and drinks and that kind of thing, but just didn't really see it in his points afterwards. And Eric was making the point too, that $100 a hand at blackjack is not what it once was.
Right.
And especially at a place like Aria. And he would probably get a better rating playing like that at a smaller casino. And he had some other things to say too. So go and listen to that episode. At the same time, we don't want to discourage people from contacting multiple podcasts because in some cases we'll have different answers. Like I remember Melanie called recently about how she was playing a progressive video poker machine and she asked, well, would you have stayed? And she called 500 and asked them to. We're coming at it from just different perspectives. So that's... So anyway, just wanted to kind of clear that up. Sometimes we don't use calls, and those are some of the reasons.
Yeah, we try and use almost all.
Well, I make a point to try to use everyone that comes in. Yeah. And let's get started with our first call from Jeff from Los Angeles.
Hey guys, love your show, love your podcast. A friend of mine tells a story, and I just wanted to get your opinion on it. He said he was at the Rio a while ago, and I'm sure he was liquored up. And he passed a craft table, took out $20 and thought he would put it in the field. And so he puts the $20 cash in the field, doesn't say anything to the dealer. The dice roll, and it's a field number, like a 10 or something. The dealer takes the 20 and gives him $20 in chips. And he goes, well, I'm supposed to collect 40. What the heck? The dealer says, no, that was change. That's not a bet. That's change. And him and the dealer get in a fight. I was always sort of on the dealer side going, yeah, you got to make change of that before. You can't just bet cash. And he said, no, that's a bet anywhere. Anyway, I was at the Rio on a separate occasion, and I saw somebody do that with $100, also liquored up, by the way. And he just sort of threw it down. It happened to be in the field. Like a 6 comes up. They took his 100. And he's sitting there waiting for change. And after another roll or two, he goes, where's my change? And the dealer said, no, that's a bet. That was a field bet and you lost it. Another argument, and he lost that. So I've seen it both ways, and they both lost their money. So what is the etiquette there? What should have happened? Then on the second half of this story, my friend was so angry about this. He just went right up to his room. He slammed the door behind him, and he heard a click. Maybe it didn't quite shut. That's what we're thinking now. But then he went to sleep, and he said in the middle of the night, somebody was in his room, and it was a woman asking John, and he freaked out and said, no, it's my room. No, John, get the heck out of here. And she immediately ran away. And then he's up, of course, and he called security, and they kind of asked, like, how did she get in the room? And he thought, if somebody was at the door, he would have woken up and heard her. But he thought, maybe my door, when I slammed it, didn't quite shut. And they said, well, at night, working women will roam the halls. And if your door is ajar, they see that as an invitation. That's known around here as an invitation that you want their services. And I thought that couldn't be true, but I thought it was funny. And that she was asking for John. Maybe that's a real thing. Wanted to know if you ever heard of anything like that. Anyway, keep up the good work. Take care. Bye.
I can't remember seeing ladies of the evening
wandering the hall.
Yeah, just wandering, and looking for doors that are ajar.
It's usually me wandering the hall.
Yeah.
Wondering, where the hell, what floor was I on?
That's right. Well, it's a good advice to, when you're in those hotel rooms, move that latch over, that latch.
Right.
So that way, even security can't get in, well, unless they break the door down, but they can't just get in with a key. So
I always lock the door.
So, and again, he probably stumbled in and just didn't
realize he's drunk and mad. So I imagine he left the door open. It's probably what I do.
Yeah. Well, as far as putting money down on the table, I'm not going to say what is correct. What would happen in those two stories? What's the correct thing that happens?
Well, what should have happened, I can tell you, first off, let's say what should have happened.
Go for it.
What should have happened is if you want the money to play, you put the money down and you say money plays.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone knows that you're playing that money. And if your number comes up, you win. If it doesn't, you lose.
Mm-hmm. And the dealer should repeat it.
Right. And the dealer should repeat it. Same thing if you just wanted change. The second guy who just wanted change, he should put that down and say change only. Or not put it in the field. Right. Put it behind the line and say change only.
That's the thing, is that at a craps, it's one thing at a blackjack table where you're typically not going to accidentally put your money right on the circle.
Right.
But at a craps table, so much is out there.
Right.
Sometimes it's hard to actually, get the money close to the dealer and not accidentally put it in a betting area.
Right.
So,
well, remember, it was a couple of weeks ago at Harris, a guy walked up and just threw his money at the dealer. I mean, just literally threw it.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like placed on the table, just threw it at the dealer and it went back by where all the stacks of chips were and stuff. I mean, he just tossed it in there.
I know.
I guess that was real obvious he wanted change.
It's really clear. No, it's a lay bet on the 5. I kind of missed.
Oh gosh. But yeah, you need to say, change all. You need to make it known exactly what you want.
Yeah.
And the dealer needs to repeat it. And if he doesn't repeat it, you say it again. Look, money plays.
And honestly, if the player doesn't say anything,
right,
the dealer should ask or announce what he thinks it is.
Right.
Money plays or change only.
Or say no action on that.
Yes, that's another thing. Right.
Just say no action and that solves everything, especially if the guy's throwing it down in the middle of a roll or right before a roll.
Yeah.
The dealer should just immediately say no action.
Yeah. But since you can't control what a dealer does, it's up to you. Money plays or change only. And sometimes if you say money plays, they won't allow it because there are some places where they won't allow money to play.
No, that's their rule. They don't, and they'll tell you. You'll say money plays, and they go, no, no action. We don't play that.
Right.
I'm still thinking about the girls wandering the halls. I've never seen that.
That's a new thing. Maybe it's something I guess I just don't look for that kind of thing.
Yeah,
maybe it's just me.
That is true. We're not. I'm going to look now when we're in.
Me too. Yeah, oh my gosh, I would be obsessed with it.
There's some lady walking down the hall. She's like 83. She's Winter Walker. Hey, my door's shut.
We'll be in the middle of dinner. Mark, where are you going? I just want to go up and check the hallways.
There's got to be something going on. I wonder what time that is. Is there a time? The security say, well, between 3 and 6 a.m.
Yeah, it sounded like it was pretty late. So.
Yeah, it'd have to be pretty late.
I'll just leave my door up. I'll set an alarm. I'll ask for a wake up call about 3:30. Oh, thank you. And I'll just put up my door ajar, see what happens.
Yeah, just leave your door wide open. See if, somebody wants to come in and take all your stuff or your money or violate you in some way.
Yeah. Looking forward. This is going to be a good trip.
Yeah.
All right, next call.
Hey, Mark, Dr. Mike. This is Mike from Las Vegas. I had a quick question about ratings. If you're playing craps and you, say, have a $10 pass line bet with $30 in odds, do they count that as a $40 average wager, or would the $40 have to be on the pass line? That's all I have. Love your show, and thanks.
So the quick answer is no. They don't rate you on your odds.
Yeah, because the house has no edge on the odds. Right. Theoretically, it's a true odds.
Yeah, it's an even bet, basically, for both sides. Now, we have heard stories of casinos rating odds as well, but I don't know how they do it.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
On a don't player who takes odds, what kind of rating did they get?
Nothing. It'd be the same side on that side, too, because, again, no house edge. Right. The casino doesn't win or lose.
But do they rate his flat bet?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because there was a big discussion last night.
Really?
At the casino about rating a don't player. There was a don't guy there, and he was asking, and there was some confusion between the pit and some of the dealers about how exactly that gets rated.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
now they just type it in the computer.
okay, so they're not calculating it there.
No,
they're not.
no.
They're just putting in the bets.
They're
of
just
what
putting
okay.
in the bets, the average bet the guy makes in the computer. But he was wondering what his rating would be, whether he got rated on his odds. When he's laying odds.
Right. So no,
And-
he probably is not getting rated on the odds, but the flat bet for sure.
The flat bet should be rated, even though. But some of the dealers are saying, "Well, I don't know. That's you're betting with the house."
Oh, come on with
Yeah.
the house, right? You always hear that, but no, the house has an edge on the don't pass.
Right.
It's
Because
just
of-
slightly lower than the pass line.
Right.
For all intents and purposes, you might as well say it's the same as the pass line. So
Right.
no, it should rate the same.
Yeah. So
Whether it does or not,
right. I kept my mouth shut because I
Yeah.
didn't want to
Yeah,
chime
right.
in.
What do you
But it was
know?
this big discussion, and they were going on and on. The don't guy, finally he got wiped out and left. Thank
Okay.
God.
well, he was playing with the house.
Yeah, he was playing with that.
That's right. All right, next up is Chris.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Chris in Keller, Texas. This past weekend, I had the chance to go to the Bourbon Festival in New Orleans with a bunch of my friends that I had met through 360 Vegas Vacations, including the guys from Vice Lounge online and Karen from 360 Vegas. It was such an amazing event, lots of bourbon, everything. We had a lot of fun, lots of dinners together. It was just such a great time. On Saturday, I got to play craps at Harrah's New Orleans with my friend Brian while his wife Tanya was relaxing. The table was okay, lots of ups and downs. We were steadily losing our money as the dice got passed around the table. I told Brian I was going to see if I could stir up the people on the craps table by doing a craps sin. When the dice were passed to me, I proceeded to place them to 3 and 4. I even took my hands off the dice so people could see that, yes, I placed the dice at 3 and 4. As soon as I did that, there was a guy at the other end of the table that immediately took his pass line bet off. But he did not have time to take down his all tall, all small, make 'em all before I started rolling. At that point, I rolled for about 40 to 45 minutes. Every time I would set the dice to 3 and 4, show the table, and then roll. I hit at least 5 different points, rolled tons of inside numbers, and made the all tall, all small, make them all. The guy that was pissed on the other side of the table never made a pass line bet or anything while I rolled. He smiled after I made him $1,800. He had a $5 chip on the all tall and all small, then had $10 on the make 'em all. After that, I still continued to roll and was 3 numbers from hitting it again. The table was cheering. There was a bachelor party going on. Guys were calling me the legend. They were just cheering, giving me high fives, just loving it, man. And one guy even tipped me like $20 when I finally sevened out. After that, I called Julie and told her all about the roll, and she asked me why I did not have money on the all tall, all small, make 'em all. I told her I didn't even think about it. She said that Dr. Mike would be so disappointed in me. I mostly set the dice to 3 and 4 to show everyone the myth. Yes, I could have made a point and 7'd out immediately, but instead it ended up being the greatest craps roll I have ever had. Will you guys take care? I can't wait to see you guys for 360 Vegas vacation in May. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Yeah, it is a fun story,
It's
right?
a-
Because now people, who witnessed it are like, "Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it," and they're starting to set to 3, 4.
Well, it's funny because dice setters. I mean, maybe this 3-3 thing is wrong. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
it's been
3-4
3-4 all the time. We've done that sometimes too, where we've set it to 7.
I did that for a while.
The problem is though, eventually you're going to immediately 7 out,
Right, and then somebody really is pissed off at you. I'm disappointed you didn't make a fire bet. I am.
No fire, all tall, small,
All
yeah.
tall, all small bet.
Yeah.
But I'm excited that he had such a monster roll.
Oh, yeah.
And I
Geez,
wished
40 to
he'd do
45.
it when I was on the table because then, $20 tip. He'd be dropping $20 bills on the floor just to watch people pick them up.
Wow, that's amazing. How much would you have had on the all tall small? Like $20 on each
20
one?
or 25 on each of them. Yeah, plus all those numbers he hit.
Yeah.
That's a $500 tip.
All right, we'll get Chris on the table at 360 Vegas.
If he could
Vacation.
repeat that.
Yeah. All right, let's hear from our pal Melanie. The first part of the call kind of got messed up and cut off here, but I think you'll get the gist of it.
Hello, Mike. Hello. We're on a little on a little road trip driving the Pacific Coast Highway. Just wanted to say I really enjoyed your tip on how to bet the don't pass odds. I'm not sure I'll be a don't pass better, but maybe I will now that I understand multiples of 6. That was really helpful, easy advice. Appreciate it. Love all the gambling stories. Reminded me of a few of my own from back in the day. Used to stay at the Hard Rock in Las Vegas almost exclusively. One time I just went down to get coffee, and this is one thing I love about Vegas. You go to get coffee, and, oh, there's a craps table. What the heck? I'll play. So I put $5 in the pass line, hit an 8, put $10 behind, hit an 8. Collected that, $5 in the pass line, 6, next roll 6. I did that 5 times in a row. Got the point, made the point. 5 times. Those were the rolls. So anyway, I wasn't really betting heavily because, again, I was just on my way to get coffee in the morning. But I love how Vegas offers the opportunity for a really fun distraction. It was crazy. Another time at the Hard Rock, I came in from the pool to grab a Coke and from the gift shop, stopped at the craps table. Bohemian Rhapsody came on. I'm rolling. Pretty soon I'm singing. The dealers are singing. Everyone around the table is singing along to Bohemian Rhapsody. I just love that craps gives you the opportunity to just, you never know what's going to happen at a table. So anyway, love the entertaining stories. Keep them coming, everybody. And can't wait to hear your show. Thanks, guys. Bye.
How often have we done that? We're on our way somewhere.
Right.
Well, hey, there's a table there, empty table.
Might as well play it that
Might as
one.
well here. We had that call recently, right, where they were about to leave, and he was distracted by the high limit room, right?
Right.
Hey, look.
Right.
Might as well go
Well,
for
you know
it.
what's funny? Okay, so I was showing you earlier these dice from early America.
Oh, yeah, those
where
old
they-
wooden dice.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
where they played a version of craps.
Right.
And, that's what craps became today.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just funny how craps is in our lives. We're watching a documentary on Margaret Mitchell, the author of Gone with the Wind.
Mm-hmm.
So she died in 1949.
Okay.
She was 48 years old at the time.
Right.
Before she died, she did an interview. This is after Gone with the Wind had came out and she had become wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And she was talking about in the 20s. So she grew up in the South. She was a flapper, a dancer, and she was very poor. Okay. And she said, I was so poor. I didn't even have enough money for a decent buy-in in a poker game, and I certainly couldn't shoot any craps.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I've never heard of anybody being that poor.
Yeah, we were watching
That's
that.
funny.
And she's playing craps in the 20s, and I'm sure it was like street craps, right?
Oh, yeah,
you
probably
know.
something like that. Yeah,
You
exactly.
have enough money for a good buy-in in a craps game.
Well, gosh, look at how many games we grew up with that used 2 dice.
Right.
That we didn't even think about craps, but
Right.
just Monopoly. Oh, yeah,
Right,
2 dice, right?
Right, yeah.
It's woven into the fabric of our culture.
Right. And that brings me back to our talk a few episodes ago about stigma of gambling.
Oh, okay.
Why is it a stigma?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Margaret Mitchell was playing craps in the 20s.
Yep, that's right.
Right.
Yep. All right, next call.
Hey guys, Cody from Alabama. Currently heading into the Sweet 16, the co-leader of the You Can Bet on That Bracket Challenge. And I'm calling with a trip report from Harrah's, Cherokee, in North Carolina. On a family vacation here during spring break, we're staying at a mountain cabin up in a little small town about 15 miles outside the facility. So I came over on a Wednesday night to play for a little while. First off, the facility is massive. The casino is it's a very large casino. Square footage is one of the largest ones, especially in the southeast, that I've been to, much larger than any of the floor space in the casinos in Tunica. And there's a variety of games there too, which is pretty nice. So 2 pits of stadium blackjack, one with a live dealer that was also connected to baccarat and roulette, and then there was also a stadium blackjack pit that was with an animated dealer. That was kind of off in the corner. There wasn't really anybody over there. The neat thing about the stadium blackjack and everything was it was, $1 minimum. So, low rollers and anything like that could play there. Game kind of moved pretty slow. I settled in at a $5 craps table. Had pretty good luck there. We had an all-tall small hit pretty quick. And then several rollers had 25, 30-minute rolls. So in total, cashed out for about 2 or 3 times what I bought in for. So it was a good time at the craps table there. They had $5 craps, $10 craps, and then I believe there was one $15 craps table that was open. The table game minimums in the pit after 7 p.m. get pretty high if you're a low roller like myself. It was like $25 minimum blackjack on a Wednesday night, which is pretty expensive for this part of the country and everything. But all in all, the food is very nice. On the negative side, drinks are not free here. And if you get like a Pepsi product, they bring you like a little small 4-ounce glass. It's $2. However, if you go to the gift shop, it's $2.15 for a 20-ounce. So that doesn't really make any sense at all. But anyway, all in all, very good experience there. I have a question on the Total Rewards credit card. Let's just say that you take your normal monthly purchases, your groceries, gas, things like that you would pay off each month. Would it help you as far as your rewards credits or your tier credits go for the Total Rewards card, or would you not, gain enough for it to really matter as far as comps or offers from other Caesars properties go? Anyway, thanks, guys.
Yeah, the Caesars Rewards credit card, you earn reward credits when you buy things
when
on
you
that.
purchase things.
Right.
Yeah.
And the reward credits are what can be used to pay for things at Caesars properties. There's no annual fee. And when you sign up, you are automatically given platinum tier status at Caesars. But beyond that, I would say, no, it's really not worth it because it doesn't affect your tier credits at all. It won't affect your comps at all. You won't get more comps, not at all. It won't affect you at all. And these reward credits, they don't build up that quickly. And again, that's the only place you can use them is at Caesars. And sometimes when you're using reward credits, you have to use like double credits at some restaurants, like if, fast food places.
1.5 times.
Yeah, things like that.
Yeah.
There is no annual fee, but the next year you don't automatically, like the second year that you have the card, you don't automatically have platinum. I think you have to jump through some hoops there. So, well, anyway, to answer the question, it certainly won't affect your tier credits at all. And we can't really recommend it unless you plan on charging a ton on there and you only want to be able to then spend the things that you've earned at Caesars property.
Or you just want another credit card that, maybe somebody who doesn't have one or something.
I guess, but there's so many other cards out there where you earn cash back.
Yeah, where you earn cash back.
So,
you can get Discover Card and get cash back.
So. But yeah, Cody was leading our March Madness pool after the Sweet 16. He didn't end up winning, though. The winners in our men's tournament challenge were T-Tomb 88 and Chappie 432. They actually tied for first place.
Nice.
And then on the women's tournament, the winner was Greg Glass. So thanks to everybody for participating in that. Again, it was just for fun and bragging rights, but it was fun to watch as the tournament went on. All right, next up is Matt.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Matt in Arizona. Been a while since I called in. Keep up the great work. Well, I wanted to give you a small trip report from March Madness opening weekend in Las Vegas. Was there with 3 of my buddies. We spent one night at the Cosmopolitan, did their watch party Friday morning, and that was a lot of fun. Great, since your table gets the cost of the table minimum goes into the food and beverage. That was nice to have a spot to land there because the sports book was busy. Moved to the Downtown Grand for 2 additional nights to round out the weekend there. That was fun. Loved being on Fremont. In terms of gambling, the first night we were there, Thursday evening, my buddies went to bed. I went to go play some live poker, just some 1-2 at Planet Hollywood, and hit my first royal flush with a queen 10 of diamonds and went runner to get it, which was super exciting. They give you a $500 spot bonus for that.
Oh, nice.
Which is great. I was actually playing a guy who flopped 3 kings and was trying to slow play it, and it didn't work out well for him. Hit 4 of a kind down at the Golden Nugget playing live poker there, and that was an exciting room to play in if folks that are poker players haven't. It was interesting to see the $100 bills playing on the table, and that added a little bit more of a fun element to it. Other gambling, we had some really good rolls and craps at the Downtown Grand and then at Golden Gate. Hit a few hard-way parlays and got a fair bit of money out of them. That was a lot of fun. The cruise at the Downtown Grand were absolutely awesome. Stopped at Pizza Rock, Triple George, got some food, and then Sunday morning we were getting ready to drive back into Phoenix, and I put $10 into a video poker machine just as we're leaving and wound up hitting 4 aces with a deuce. So that was another quick $500 right there. So great trip overall. Had a lot of fun. The basketball bets were absolutely terrible. Lost every single sports bet I made, but no better weekend to be out in Vegas if you're a sports fan than March Madness. It was so much fun to be in those sports books and around that atmosphere. So all in all, great trip. And now I've got about 2 months until the World Series of Poker kicks off, and I'll be back there. So hope all is well with you guys and keep up the great work.
Nice. Sounds like a good trip.
A great trip.
Doggone it, this tournament was fantastic.
It was a good tournament.
It really
yeah.
was. And, the Final Four, that last game, right? Overtime.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Right. Well, you
yeah.
can't ask for anything better.
Yeah.
Why would anybody slow play Trip Kings?
I'll tell you. Seriously. No, seriously. Now, it depends on what the flop is.
Right.
Right.
Of course,
and what's out there.
Right.
If it's not, it doesn't look very dangerous. If the flop is like, King Deuce 7 Rainbow,
Right.
then okay, you might want to. But so many people get enamored when they flop a set like that, and they think, oh yeah, I'm going to slow play. But I'll tell you, you're
setting yourself up.
Yeah, and you're letting people, you're giving people the right price to come in.
Right, exactly. To come in and hit their straight.
Yeah.
Right? Because the flop's King, Jack, 10. Right, and you're slow playing your Trip Kings, and then somebody's sitting there with the
well, you've got to be not worried about a royal flush, of course. That's very rarely going to happen.
But you got to be worried about a straight
or a flush,
right, or a flush.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every time I hear that, I mean, immediately it comes to my head like, oh my God.
And if in this case the guy had pocket kings, I'm assuming he bet pre-flop.
Right.
And so when he doesn't bet on the flop, it's
Right.
kind of suspicious.
Right.
It
opens,
he needs to do what looks like a continuation bet, and then
Right.
people think, oh well,
Yeah.
maybe he's got at the most he's got a pair
of kings. Right. He probably had ace king in his hand. Right.
Right. All right, that's everybody's poker lesson for the day.
If it makes sense to anybody, I don't know.
Okay, next call. This is from Donald, and again, it's a case where the whole first part of the call got cut off.
How does that happen?
I don't know. We use Google Voice, and I don't know. A lot of people call in on cell phones.
Yeah,
and sometimes
well,
it's
right.
just so the
Technology.
Yep, the clip is just going to pick up right in the middle of the call here.
Did really well at the Blackjack tournament in Venetian. That was a heck of a lot of fun. Loved the format. They did a wonderful job with the tournament. Found a new fun favorite place downtown, the Plaza. Recommend it to anybody. Table way in the back, $5 table, awesome dealers, great pit boss. I mean, everything it was just a blast. So much fun. But the reason why I picked up the phone is because you guys were killing me. I had to pause listening to the podcast to tell you a story, and I'll keep it quick. I play a lot of golf. An old friend of mine used to, we always play for a few bucks or whatever, and it's pretty fun, foursome. And this guy we used to play with would walk up to the tee, put his tee down, put his ball down, and kind of start hearing his mumbling. And we come to find out, essentially, he's giving himself a hard time, just like Dr. Mike was just explaining about standing with the dice, kind of just essentially giving yourself a hard time. Well, he would do that. He would use very, very colorful words, and over the years, it got louder and louder and louder. And other people would play with us, and they'd look at him like, "What on earth are you doing?" "Oh, I'm trying to motivate myself." Okay. So one time we noticed that he had placed, and I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with golf or not, but I'll just kind of pretend that you're not. If you place the tee down with the ball on it, and it's in front of the tee markers, it's actually a couple-stroke penalty. And you have to replace the ball, hit again, that kind of thing. So as soon as he went to go hit the ball, one time we noticed that it was ahead of the tee markers, and we called him out on it, and we thought he was going to have an aneurysm on the spot because he was, all fired up and he was ready to go hit the ball. And we're like, "Hey, excuse me, you move the ball back behind the tee markers." Anyway, it was pretty funny. So I thought of that when I heard you guys your story. Anyway, I hope you guys are well. Talk to you soon.
I'm so stupid. That's what you're going to do at the table, you said, right?
I'm so stupid.
Come on, shooter. Idiot.
You know what's funny? As you get older, you start doing that everywhere. You're like in line at the grocery store. Like, why didn't I get in the other line? Oh, God, this lady in front of me. And, pretty soon you're loud enough where everyone hears you.
Hear you. Yeah, you're standing at the urinal. Come on.
Come on. You're missing more rolls. Come on. Hey, guess who invented the golf tee?
I'm not going to guess. Who did?
A dentist.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you know the details?
I forget his name. It was just a dentist. He decided,
Dr. T?
He just, Dr. T. Spelled TEA. He decided that he needed something, to tee off. And so he invented the golf tee. Now, isn't that interesting? An American guy, American dentist. Invented the golf tee. Even though golf's, an ancient sport, they played it like at the beginning of time.
I didn't know that. We're going to have to start another podcast.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Fun facts about golf.
Yeah. All right, next call.
Hey guys, Eamon from Los Angeles here. First of all, Mark, I appreciate your feedback on the pictures of the craps table that I built. Yes, and it only took 14 hours to make. Couple quick trip reports. I was in Chicago over St. Patrick's Day weekend and had a few hours to kill, so we went over to Rivers Des Plaines. One interesting thing to note there was I also have a player's card in the Rivers Casino in Schenectady, and despite that both casinos are Rivers casinos and both are Rush Rewards, the player's card is not actually able to be used between the casinos. I thought that was interesting and annoying. So now I have two player's cards that look exactly the same and are indistinguishable. Anyways, that little trip was great. Finished up a few $100 in less than 2 hours of playing blackjack. Since it was St. Patrick's Day weekend, we couldn't get on the craps tables. They were just jam-packed. And another trip I just came back from was our annual March Madness trip. About 8 of us go every year for the opening weekend, basically Thursday through Sunday. It was a really great trip. I finished about even for this trip, but we had a really good time. One of the couple of interesting things that happened was we were playing blackjack the first night we got there, and saying to a friend, it was a Buster blackjack, and I said to a friend, I don't think I've ever seen a dealer even have a 6-card bust, maybe once or twice in my life. And so we played it, and the very next hand, the dealer actually had a 7-card bust. We were each playing it for $5, so paid 50 to 1, so each made 250 on that. But the guys next to us, one guy was playing it for 10, and another guy was playing it for 25, so he collected his $12.50 or whatever it was and walked away super happy. I just actually looked at the odds online. I guess it's like 0.002% chance of happening. I did have a question about courtesy at the craps table, though. So we were playing at a $15 table, and a group of extreme bros came up to the table and decided to play $25 on the pass line and 1 times odds, 25 behind. Again, at a $15 table, they were extremely loud and basically just rude. Do you think it's wrong not to help them bet? Or would you take my angle and, hope they lose their money quickly and then go away and then civility can return? I highly recommend going March Madness weekend. The tables are jam-packed, but if you like betting on college sports like we do, you'll have a great time. The Cosmopolitan is where we go every year. It's probably the most upscale, best food and atmosphere.
And he got cut off there at the 3-minute mark. Eamon built this homemade craps table, and I think I sent you some pictures.
That's an excellent table. 14
hours. And I just felt like crap because I'm thinking, I'm lucky if I can saw a piece of wood in half.
Yeah, right. Well, 14 hours is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I'm looking at like 2 weeks to build that.
That's right. And taking long breaks.
Right.
Starting over because you measured this wrong.
Right.
Yeah. Well, as far as that particular situation, if it's a bunch of loud guys, I wouldn't say a thing.
Right.
I certainly wouldn't say anything, and I might consider just changing tables. Right. And I think just in general, it's good not to offer unsolicited advice.
Right.
If people are playing, just let them play. Now, if they ask you, or if they're clearly not sure what they're doing, that's something else.
Right.
But, if they're confident and they're just let it be.
Right. Yeah, some people. Well, look, there's a player out at Harrah's Rincon, right? You'll know who I'm talking about. She always takes like $15 sixes and $15 eights.
Right.
And she's,
she knows that
savvy.
She knows that she's getting the short end on those.
She knows she's getting the short end, but she does it because her stack is low. And, she just bets
it's a $15 minimum
table. Right. So she just takes the 15. And so, if somebody came up to her, you should really make that 18, she'd be like, yeah, I know, but I don't have it. Yeah. You never know what someone's situation is. Right.
Yes. All right, let's hear from Fred from Texas. Texas, very well represented in this episode. They don't have casinos there.
No, it's always represented very well in a lot of episodes.
It's fantastic.
It's funny, maybe because they don't have casinos.
Yeah, maybe, right?
People like to
That's their itching to go. They can't, exactly.
But if that were true, we'd be getting a ton of Hawaii calls. And
we get some Hawaii calls too. Utah. We do. It's funny you say that because we do get Utah calls. We do get Hawaii calls.
I know, but we don't get a ton of them.
Interesting. Suddenly we're not getting any Arkansas calls anymore, right? Because they have casinos. All right, here's Fred.
Hey, Mark, Dr. Mike. This is Fred from Texas, calling with a quick recap. Me and my wife decided to go up to WinStar Casino in Thackerville, Oklahoma. It takes a couple hours for us to get up there. We got a few days, went up there. Interesting thing, at check-in, My rooms initially weren't comped as they were on the weekends. I usually get weekdays comped. I asked at check-in, and I was able to get Friday comped for some reason. They were able to change that for me, so that was a nice twist. We had a fun trip. The wife actually enjoyed the spa, won on the slot machines for the first time in a long time. I usually am a no-limit hold'em poker player, and I dabble in craps. I enjoy playing that. I usually win money at the poker table and lose it at the craps table. This trip, it was in reverse. I lost a little bit in the poker room, but had a great time at the craps table on a Friday night. Was actually walking to the poker room and saw the table. It was about half full, so I slid in and spent about 4 or 5 hours having a whole lot of fun. This one gentleman in particular got the dice and seemed like he kept them for a really long time. I'm a semi-conservative player, and I was able to run about a $200 buy-in up to about $800 when I finally colored up and it was time to go. So I had a lot of fun. The only thing I'm not sure about is their comp system. When I log into the system online, I don't seem to be getting any tier credits or any points for my craps play. I do give them my player's card, etc., but played craps there several times, and I never seem to gain any credits there on that end of the deal. But anyway, enjoy your show. You guys do a great job. Thanks for everything you do, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah, welcome to the world of casino ratings for table players.
Right.
It's always a mystery. And who knows what the case is with the craps in Oklahoma. Fred, we would just suggest next time you're there and you're actually playing, talk to a pit.
Yeah.
And maybe they can tell you, how you're being rated, and maybe they can tell you what that should translate to as far as credits.
Yeah, well, at least if you bring it up to a pit, you're putting a bug in their ear that you're savvy to rating system and that you're concerned about it, and maybe you get a better rating or you get a correct rating.
Yeah, and plus in Oklahoma, you got to pay that ante, which shouldn't matter, right? Because supposedly that goes into like a player's pool, but you would think that maybe you'd get a little better rating because you're you're losing more money in the long run because of that ante.
You would think.
But yeah, who knows? All right, next call.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Andrew from Dallas. This is my first time calling. I just started listening to the show. Just wanted to give you guys a trip report from Vegas, weekend 1 of March Madness. We stayed at Tuscany. We like the size of it because that way we get to see everybody. If you guys remember a couple weeks ago when the guy was on the 52 Casino Blitz, the Tuscany was the place where they walked in and they asked him if he was lost. Gambling there's not great. They only have a few tables. The craps is bad. It gets worse every year. Last year it was only half the table was open, and they only allow 6 per side. And now this year they would reduce the max odds to double on all the numbers. So, not a lot of fun. So we gambled over at the Venetian, we gambled at the Orleans, and we gambled at Gold Coast. One thing about the Tuscany craps though, that was kind of fun. Somebody threw out a $1 bet, said dealer's choice, and the dealer called Heartache Hopping, and he actually hit it on the next roll. So that was kind of fun to watch. I've never seen anybody make a call like that and hit it, which was nice. As far as Venetian, the poker room is nice. I like it. Sorry to say, Dr. Mike, but I hit a royal flush on a poker machine there. So I won a little bit. That was nice. Overall, about even on my bets, which it's always good to come home with the same amount of money. And before I left, I put in some bets on the Dodgers to win the World Series, the Rangers to win the World Series because it pays 750 to 1, and then LSU to win March Madness. All right, guys. I really enjoy the show. Thanks a lot for having me.
Well, sorry about LSU.
Oh, gosh. I think that's a wonderful bet on the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are going all the way and are going to win the World Series. And my advice to everybody would be put money on the Dodgers to win the World Series.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
And do you have any ulterior motive to actually saying this? Trying to think of what other team might be in the same division
Well,
as the
if I
Dodgers.
root for them, they'll probably lose miserably.
We talked about this last week. Now, on the previous episode, Mike said that he thought Kentucky was going to go all the way, and he also apologized for jinxing Kentucky by saying that. And sort of when Kentucky was eliminated, some listeners say, "Thanks a lot, Dr. Mike."
Well,
right?
they had a good tournament. They did have a good tournament.
So Mike said he was going to start basically what I do as far as the sports betting, saying the opposite.
Yeah.
Right. So he really wants the Padres to win the World Series. So he's saying absolutely bet on the Dodgers.
Bet on the Dodgers.
Now,
They're the team
don't
to
tell
beat.
me if I'm right, Dr. Mike, because
No.
that'll spoil it.
Oh, no.
Okay, good.
No. As a matter of fact, all I can think about is that I'm going to start carrying a little notepad around with me and jot down every time somebody asks me if I'm lost.
Okay. Now,
And then where I'm at and what they said when,
okay, so you're going to write down where it took place.
Yeah, where
what
it took
exactly what
place.
the person said.
Yeah. and
Why does it
then-
happen a lot?
Yeah, it happens a lot. And then just to see, if there's a pattern. If I-
Okay, give it to me. I'll throw it into the.
yeah, put it in the computer and figure
we'll
it out.
figure something out. All right. Next up is Cecil.
Hey, this is Cecil. I'm making my second call. On episode 159, you had a beginning poker player that called, and he talked about leaving while he was up, and you guys said he did the right thing. And while I believe that is true in many aspects, that he probably was just the beneficiary of really good cards, when you're running good and you have a large stack, it is an edge, and it's a real edge. I can't quantify it, but it's a real advantage. And if you're running good and feeling good and having a good time, isn't that the definition of a recreational gambler? Isn't that the goal of every recreational gambler? Leaving on any predetermined amount is a bit of a mistake. I'm sorry. It is a bad policy. You need to let your winners run. Would you quit a craps roll right in the middle of the hot roll? No. You would wait for a 7 out. You would wait till the streak is over, at least that roll, and that's effectively what this guy did by his definition. Now, if he takes a couple of hits and, starts losing a little bit of his gains, I understand. Or if you just don't want to play. Certainly nobody has to have a reason to leave, but if you're questioning it, and I think that's a real advantage. When you're sitting there and you have a big stack and you're running good in a 1-2 the limit game, they're all recreational players, and you're not giving up a lot of advantage when everything is equal. But when you're winning, that's the sweet spot, and I think that's the goal of every recreational gambler, which is the spirit of the podcast, and I just love you guys.
So we take your point, Cecil.
He is right.
Yeah.
I mean, in poker, having a big stack is a huge advantage. And if you are the big stack, it's probably not the time to leave.
Right. No, I agree.
Unless you have other reasons to leave, like you have to be
Sure,
somewhere
sure.
or, you got to go to the bathroom.
I don't
whatever.
remember all the details of this story, but I think we were thinking in terms of times in our gambling lives where we, after the fact, said, why didn't we leave when we were up X number of dollars, right?
Right.
And that has happened so often.
That happens a lot to us in craps.
Yeah.
Now we would never leave in the middle of a big roll.
Not in the middle of a big
Never,
roll.
ever.
Unless,
But
seriously, I had a flight to catch or something.
Yeah,
but
right. But you have turned to me in the middle of a big roll and said, this might be my last shooter.
Yeah, and I'll leave. Yeah.
And you'll
Mhm.
leave.
I'll
you
leave
know, and
right
I
after
never
a huge
do. I
yeah.
always I'm going to try one more shooter in case there's back-to-back good rolls. And then if there's a bad roll, sometimes I'll leave. Sometimes I'll stay. Yeah. It's so hard because every situation is different.
It is different. And I think that this original story, if he had been a more seasoned poker player,
right,
then absolutely, go ahead and stay, especially if he's still feeling good, he's not tired, that kind of thing.
Right. And he knows how to bully people around.
Right. And this
because there's an art to that too.
Absolutely. When you have the big stack, that's what you do.
Right.
But I think in this case, he was kind of new to poker and he was kicking himself for not staying longer. And we were just saying, hey, look, it could have really gone south. And then you'd feel bad about that.
Right. You go home a loser and you're kicking yourself the whole way because you were a winner. So,
yeah, exactly. Well, we've actually got more phone calls. We haven't recorded in 3 weeks, so we've got a lot of calls, and we're just not going to be able to get to all of them this episode. In fact, I wasn't even able to download all of them and edit them. It was just there were so many. But we still have calls from Ann, Stephen, Edward, Brandon, and others. So we will get to those calls hopefully on the next episode, which will be our Gamblepalooza wrap-up show. So that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, a recurring donation from Joshua and also a recurring donation from Kurt. Thank you very much. Also a donation from Darren. Thank you for countless hours of entertainment over the years. Also a donation from Thomas, looking for some good luck in Atlantic City for the Sweet 16 games. Going to try to get there for Gamblepalooza also. Thanks for the great podcast. Oh, well, hopefully you have some good luck.
Hopefully we'll see him
and
there.
Hopefully,
but took Virginia.
Yeah, hopefully. Also from Carson. Carson says a karma donation for my next Wendover trip. Oh, there you go. Talking about
There you go.
maybe he's coming over from Utah.
Yeah,
over
maybe.
to Wendover, right? Also a donation from Sean. A karma donation for my trip to my local casino, Akwesasne Mohawk Casino. I don't know if I said that right or not, but anyway.
Well, you said Mohawk, right?
That's
So,
right.
there you go.
In upstate New York. Thank you so much for all the many years of entertainment. Best of luck to you both. Maybe one day I'll be brave enough to leave a trip report. Cheers. Oh, absolutely call in. Like I said, I edit all the calls. I make everybody sound decent.
Yeah, no, call in. I'd like to hear them.
Yep. Also, a donation from Two-Way Hard 8. Just a little Hard 8 bet for my upcoming Vegas trip. Hope you two have good luck at Gamblepalooza. Yeah, I think the first place we met him was at Downtown Grand.
Yeah, that
I think
sounds
it was
right.
back when they had the free buy bet. So there's-
Yeah, right.
And finally, a donation from Kurt, a karma donation for the same weekend as Gamblepalooza. And Kurt is the one who won the 7 Out podcast bracket challenge. And he took winnings from that and made donations to some of his favorite podcasts.
Now,
and we were the
there's a good
benefactors of it.
guy.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great guy.
Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. This cold I'm getting over. It's hard for me to even read all this.
Well, you got to get rid of that.
I know.
We're
going,
leaving.
Yeah, we're going to Gamblepalooza. And if you want to know where we're at any given time, definitely follow us on Twitter. Now, on the last episode, Mike, you said you were going to provide your Gamblepalooza predictions. So what are they?
Pain.
Ooh,
lots of it.
Lots of it. Wow. All the other shows are talking about how much fun they're going to have and everything. Pain.
No, pain. I think I'm just getting in for a lot of pain. I'll tell you what, I was thinking, we'd go to the beach and we'd enjoy walks on the boardwalk and we'd have all this fun stuff. And then I see the weather report. It's going to rain every day and thunderstorms like on Saturday or something.
I saw that. Yeah.
Oh my God, what are we going to do, Mark?
I don't know what we're going to do. It's
We're
Atlantic
probably
City
going to
over
have to just stay in the casino,
maybe,
I guess.
Maybe in the room.
Keno.
I'll just walk.
I mean, there's the Keno
There is
lounge.
Keno.
The
I'll
Keno
probably
lounge,
just,
yeah.
again, check the hallways for women. And
yeah, check the hallways for
Well,
women.
yeah.
You know what I'm going to do?
What's
I'm
that?
going to sit in the room and watch the Masters golf tournament.
Oh, okay,
And
there you
leave
go.
the door open. And if any, buddy wanders in,
golf and random women.
yeah,
It's your favorite.
that's my prediction. Well, no, you know what? I think seriously, there are so many people going this.
Oh my gosh, I know.
It's going to be fun.
Hey, you know who's not going? And this kind of angers me, all right? Craig and Kyle.
Just relax.
From the Do
Just
for a
relax.
Win podcast. My understanding is that they were all set to go, had reservations and everything, found out we were going, and pulled out, canceled. Yeah, and I believe it because think about it. Two guys who have an Atlantic City podcast,
right?
And they both can't make it this weekend, like the biggest event in Atlantic City history.
Well, I offend a lot of people.
That's true. Yeah. Now that you say it out loud. Yeah. I guess I can understand
You
it.
can
Yeah.
understand why they're not
Yeah.
coming.
Now that you say it. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we're looking forward to seeing everybody. And yeah, when this posts, we'll be on a plane the next day. So
yeah, we'll be on the plane and waiting at the, limo for Adam to come limping up.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Mike, Mark, that was wonderful. I had no idea you were so talented. The audience is going to love you.